Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended. I'm Kim. This is Tyler, and it is Hump Day. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Our first take, he was at least doing a little dance for it. I'm a little disappointed
Yeah, well,
he decided not to do the dance. Yeah, big old blur. Anyway, hope
you had
you're.
you had to you had to you couldn't just let me do the Frank Sinatra, huh? Get that mojo a flowing, because I think Stevie Ray Vaughan said it best. I know it wasn't Stevie Ray Vaughan that initially said it, but I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Then I think, I can't remember. But anyways, he said it best. If the house is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. But you fucked up my mojo. Oh wait, I swore. Oh well.
Well, it's all down the crapper from here. Okay, so hope everybody's had a fantastic week so far. Sorry we missed Monday. You know, things and stuff. Yeah.
No, no, don't you start this politician bullshit.
What's
Yeah.
that
Oh,
politician?
I'm sorry. We were so busy and we were swamped.
I never
No,
said that.
we were watching Arcane.
Yeah, we were.
And so Kim goes, I said, Kim, are we recording tonight? To which she responds, no. I said, okay, you know,
To be fair, it's very rare. Well, for one, that you're even home, but two, that we actually just sit down and relax, for a change. So yeah, I was kind of enjoying the nice little family sesh while we were watching Arcane. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it is a League of Legends show on Netflix, and it is freaking fantastic. Yeah. So if you
yeah.
haven't seen it, watch it, because I clearly couldn't get enough of it, and I didn't want to do the podcast because I wanted to watch it. Yep.
Well, and it's
Sorry.
not even like, like, so obviously the show, obviously, oh fuck, those Oreos are really getting to me. Oh, um, like obviously, if you're a fan of the show, like, or if you're a fan of the game, you'll be a fan of. I think you'll be a fan of the show because a lot of times you're watching, it's like, it kind of raises the question, like, oh, who does that person become? Who is that person? Oh, but no, it was a very good show. World of Warcraft, a little lamey, a little, how they say, orcish.
Yeah.
But
I didn't watch that one. I was too busy cleaning in the kitchen because apparently that was more exciting for me than that movie.
that's right. But okay, so I guess for today we have an interesting take that Oreos, they've been doing this for a while, but we have a video, an interesting video, and we'll talk about that. We also have the Alberta Health Services CEO, which I thought it would be weird that they be called a CEO. Wouldn't they be like the director? Like, would this not be a government agency? Wouldn't they be called like directors or, minister, or I don't know what you call a minister? Like, okay, to be fair, a woman in a ministerial position is, she's always going to be second fiddle to any man. But Wouldn't they? I don't know. Whatever. She got fired for fudging COVID numbers. Ooh,
Who would do such a thing? Somebody fudging
almost
COVID
like,
numbers? No. Say it ain't so.
almost like, almost like, if you have a vested interest in something and that generates you more money, do you not try to milk it?
Yeah.
And then the big juicy, outside of Will Smith being the biggest cock emasculated man in the world, to actual like important things, like not, people playing make believe and Jada Pinkett Smith being like a fuck. I'm sorry, I spit because I was trying to say F, and I stopped myself. So I went,
Uh,
a evil woman. But in actual interesting news, not Ukraine. I'm sorry. I don't care. Um, Elon Musk, Big Daddy Elon, the big Musk in the sky, El Muscolino, the the savior that is the transhumanist pontificator of metallurgy, has obviously, if you're not aware, has got a 9.2 um stock in Twitter, the largest single shareholder, and is now on the board of directors.
yeah. I'm excited. I'm hoping that this means that Twitter will stop being such little bitches, that he's gonna like revamp it. I'm super stoked about this.
Uh, I wouldn't get too excited, but the thing
Too
that
late.
is funny is all the Twitterati's, all the Twitter employees saying Elon Musk, if he joins or if he's a member here, who's going to protect free speech? We have one famous useless twat that says we're not stripping away free speech, we're protecting users from bully, bigots, and spam. I refuse to work with or Elon Musk. But we'll get into that and some interesting things from Jack Dorsey, the guy that started Twitter. That he's had a bit of a revelation. So before that,
You know what I have to say to
our
anybody who
meet
doesn't want to work with Elon? Sorry. Bye,
get good.
Felicia. No. All right, carry on.
But of course, we are on YouTube. We are on Rumble. I'm actually happy to see that. I don't know why on my phone. Oh, fuck! I'm sorry.
Did you just bonk her in the head with your phone? Aw, see, to anybody who doesn't, well, you're not gonna know. One of our puppies is on the road with our boy this week, or for the
Our
next
boy,
couple weeks. Yeah, our boy
the
Tyler
guy.
here, my guy.
But of course, we are on Rumble, and it's fantastic to see that Rumble is getting more and more traction. I, I, I don't want to be on YouTube. I want to just be able to say whatever I want, and people can go or go.
How about a
That's how I operate.
oh, oh
Oh,
you?
no. Okay, so we're on YouTube, on Rumble, on Spotify. If you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button. I will say, Rumble, I am not happy with your interface. It is a little quirky, and wonky, quonky.
I like it. I like it.
It does bug me a little bit. I wish it was a little more streamlined, a little more mobile friendly.
And at least have
Um,
playlists. Have playlists. Like that's the one thing I do like about YouTube is you can have like your segments, you can have your big episodes. You can't have that on Rumble. It's all just one big mess.
yeah, the UI needs some help. It's like it's like when someone builds a car, like they have all the safety features, like they have a seatbelt and seatbelts. Well, what if they have seatbelts? They got airbags. They have all these kind of features. They have a radio, air conditioner, heat, defrost, wipers, lights. They kind of got these features in them. And so if someone comes along and they go, "Oh yeah, we haven't designed headlights yet." Well, what are you doing? Everyone and their mother has a car with headlights. Well, or we don't. What's an airbag? I don't know. You kind of got a standard, like YouTube is kind of obviously the first and best dressed, and everyone tries to emulate it. But don't have to steal from YouTube, but YouTube is very user friendly.
It is.
Like
And it's
when I start Rumble, no, you shut up. The man's talking. When Like when you start a video, if you double click it, it'll play like 2 loops of the video. Oh, fix your stuff, Chris. That is your real name,
If anybody at
Chris
Rumble is
from
listening to
Toronto.
this, you know what? I have some mad organizational OCD, so I could help you out. I like designing shit. Let's make this work.
UI is it's such an art. Like having things set up so that it's almost intuitive. Like, hey, when I press this, I expect this to happen. Like becomes like, for anyone in the video game world, like if you're expecting something to be somewhere, like if you go into your settings options and you go into, your video graphics and you don't see like a slider for like resolution, well, why is this not here? It's kind of things like that. Like you expect things to do a certain thing when you do them. But aside from that, we are on Spotify. Leave us a review. And I just spit again. Stop spitting! Ah!
That was horrifying. Maybe you should take people off of the vision of you spitting and show our pretty puppy. It'll make them forget the spit.
Oh, she's black.
Being so
You can't
racist.
see her. You can't see her.
You gotta actually like move.
Look.
Yeah.
Look, she's.
My pretty puppy.
Oh shit,
Hi.
she's alive. Look. So, let you people have seen my creepy dog. Okay, so yeah, let's get into this first weird ass video. So I kind of buried the lead, and I'm sure if you look at the name on the video, it says Oreo, and you can't kind of. But we'll play this video. Where does Oreo come in? Right, just kick it.
Video. All right, playing.
你
Oh,
们都是一家人，
we are all one family, and this is
你
obviously
们
in
绕过
Chinese.
半个地球来
I
的，
know you came halfway around
就
the
是
world.
想
So
给
we
我
can
们
have a better
更好的
life.
生活。
They left China because the women would be drowned.
可是我是
But I am. What? Hey! Reading a letter. His mother is touching his leg
Sure.
because he's nervous. But
He has restless legs.
Says-
我
I
爱
love you. Okay. That Florida, huh? How do you like that, Florida? Love. She says love,
爱
In love with a
and he
question mark?
says love. I love.
我爱你，
I love you. Or this is obviously for people that are just listening.
Yeah.
I think you're ready.
Oh, and
I think
they
you're
had to
ready.
subtitle that. I think you're ready. Like, okay. Well, everyone's freaking out. Like, that was the only thing. Did you see that shit? There was an Oreo pack.
Oh yeah,
Are you ready?
She grabbed that shit so fast.
They had to hide it. So I'm gonna pause. They had to hide the Oreo cookies because they didn't want this guy's gay lover to go, "You like Oreos?" I'm a Quakers fan. If there's one thing in this world, I only eat Quaker bars because I know those Quakers and they don't like masturbation.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all about dad's cookies, baby. And then when they eat
No,
it,
but
they can be like, daddy.
You never heard the reason why Quakers like their cereals and all their stuff had no flavor? Like it was literally just bran? Because Quakers thought that adding flavor to food encouraged masturbation.
No way. Shut your mouth. That's not real. That's not real.
That is why I am a candy fiend. I will tear that bag up. Just get in there and
That was really
candy.
horrifying.
I'm talking about candy.
I'm really sorry, people, that you had to witness that. It was intense. All right, let's carry on with this video because I'm frightened.
Homos. Well, very tense. I don't know if this is a letter he wrote.
It's weird that the
Why
letter
would
is
it-
like it's got Chinese and then it's got English underneath it.
Yeah.
You might be my
But
mother.
oh shit! But I am gay. It says I am gay.
Hold on, I didn't get to read it.
You know, China would not
Son of
stand
a-
for this.
son
They
of
would.
a- Okay, so on the letter, for anybody who's listening right now, it says she might be my mother, but you are my son. Okay, and yeah, in the letter it said, but I am gay. So the son was saying that. So I'm guessing it's grandmother coming over, and he's gonna come out to grandmother. That's my thought. Anyway,
She might be my mother. Hold on. I might be a little dumb. She might be. I don't like. Who is this letter from?
that little part on the bottom is from his mom. You can see the writing is
Oh.
different. So she's saying she might be my mother, so your grandmother, but you are my son.
Ah, I get it. Oh, I better keep my mouth closed. I'm probably going to turn some homo on.
Oh, he looks so surprised, like
What? How did Grandma
You still
and you
love
both
me?
survive the bathtub?
oh yeah, see, there's grandma.
Oh,
Family coming over, not his team lover.
whatever. You have to. All right. So he's proud. He's smiling. Oh, I can't wait to have a daughter. Never mind.
Coming out doesn't happen once, or just happen once.
Right.
Be a lifelong ally. A collaboration with whatever. Whatever that
E flag. Oh man, don't slip up with that word. Proud fag.
I was just about to say it silly, and then I realized what it sounded like. Okay, so, I mean,
That's an Oreo commercial.
yeah. So I'd like everybody to leave their comments below as to what you thought of that commercial. Now, keep in mind, it was an Oreo commercial. Oh, okay. I don't think you could totally get that from the actual commercial itself, but it was actually an Oreo cookie commercial. So, let me know what
Could
you
you
thought of the
imagine?
commercial.
Can you imagine like owning a place and asking like, do you guys like gay people? Like, could you honestly imagine that? Like, if I phoned up Mars, the Mars Corporation, the Mars Chocolate Corporation, what are you pointing at? You pointing at what? The fags? Oh, P flag. But could you imagine phoning places and hey, you like the gays? You cool with the gays?
I
Could
just
you imagine that?
No. You know what else I can't imagine? The fact that I keep forgetting to unmute myself when I'm speaking. Sorry, people. I was telling him that I found an Oreo cookie with freaking white stuff recolored into a rainbow flag. Okay. No, I couldn't imagine
To be
actually.
fair, an Oreo is a very fitting thing. You know, a black stuff with white cream in the inside.
You know what? I already thought they were, fitting in right there, black and white,
They're
See,
like the de
black
facto
on the
gay cookie.
outside, white on the center. You know what I'm saying?
No,
You know what I'm
was
saying?
that was a derogatory name for black people.
I know.
So
I know, but I was thinking of a white chick in between,
it's not
the
gay,
Oreos.
Kim.
I know that. God. Hump day,
Not
okay?
gay if it's in a
Can't-
three-way.
Oh, it totally is.
Girl in the middle, there's some leeway. Come on. Lonely Island taught us that.
True story, yes. But yes, it was a person being called or a black person being called an Oreo is a derogatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job. Good job. Way to extend the race. See, these okay, for
I
those
was
that don't
thinking
know,
it in
me and
like
her,
a, brown
no,
chicken wow wow
me
way. You had to take it racist.
me and Kim I have to tell her time and time again, like, hey, Kim, black people are people too.
You're such a
You can't
shit.
just because they're Jewish and they have big noses doesn't mean you make fun of them.
Oh my god. That's not even true.
I'm
Okay.
Aboriginal, so I to be fair, Aboriginal people, just because they like hairspray, they like drinking Listerine, although it's, and
Ooh,
you know what,
I got something
any
for
of
you,
my
babe.
Aboriginal,
I got
was it Listerine?
rubbing alcohol. I bought it just for you.
No, they don't drink, I don't drink that. It's Listerine or, like Alberta, hair spray.
Oh,
But
the good stuff, I see.
my Aboriginals, you will know this. You do not drink any other Listerine but the original. I know you. See? You don't drink the peppermint, you drink the original.
Oh, could you imagine getting drunk on peppermint?
That's why, because it tastes so much worse coming back up.
I got that. Yeah, that's delightful.
Oh yeah, it's it's weird that all these, to be fair, the place that these people came from, I wouldn't say they would disappear you, but they'd probably send you to some type of camp where you get re-educated. I think they call it where they beat the gay out of you.
Oh, that sounds fun. Ooh, what if you had like,
Oh, not beat off the gay. Not beat off.
well, yeah, but what if they're into like
That's gay.
BDSM? You know,
No,
they're
that's
like, yeah,
gay.
beat me. Mm, yeah, I've been
But and
bad.
it's so interesting. So like there's been such a hyper focus, like everyone's talking about the parental rights and education bill, which is what it's actually called, not the don't say gay, but you see it's such a heavy push from it. And I posted this on Twitter. You notice the only people that are fighting this tooth and nail. Actually, I didn't say that. I take that back. I didn't. I'm a liar. But I said it's, what would you call someone that wanted to talk to children about sex, especially young
Pedophile,
children in your
predator.
grade five or hold on. What would you call them if they wanted to talk about sex in private to children, or at the very least, hide those conversations from their parents? What would you call them?
Predator! Stranger
Yeah,
danger! Pedophile!
like, and it's so weird hearing these teachers talk about this. You know, oh, I love my children. Oh, they're my children.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
no.
no, no, no.
Oh, I'm gonna what?
No, no, no. They're not your children, for one. Two, two. What I am hearing here is that, okay, for one, when has any sort of teacher wanted to teach sex and stuff like that to a child 5 years old to 8 years old? Yeah, no. And two, the only thing people that I am seeing personally who are combating this and bitching about it are the narcissistic, egotistical teachers who clearly only think about themselves and just want to talk all about themselves and all their wonderful lives. Instead of actually doing their job, which is teaching our kids, they want to just, talk their shit and it literally be all about them. Because how dare I not be able to speak about my life to my kids? Well, they're not your kids. They're other people's kids. They're your students. Okay, it's your job. Yeah. And really
Oh,
they don't
and
need
you're
to
a
know about your
government
lives.
employee. You're a government employee. It's like the same thing with for anyone that doesn't know. So like Kim Davis, I think she was in Kentucky, and her religious belief was I do not believe in gay marriage. And she kept pushing it over and over and over. And she would not sign marriage certificates of people that were gay, even though in the state of Kentucky, it was legal. You can marry gay as long as the day is hard. So, but she kept doing it. She over and over. She kept violating this. And the government said, you can't do this. Your political or your opinions, your religious beliefs end when you are a government official. Teachers, you are government officials. You are appointed by people of your community. You are an educator on behalf of the state. But when someone says, hey, government, shut up, they have every right to say that. Like, I never even, like I said, I knew one teacher's first name, honestly. And the one teacher that I liked, Mark Penner. That's the only teacher's name that I actually knew. Mrs. Havexbeck, I don't know her first name. I couldn't tell you it. I couldn't tell you any of my teachers' first names outside of one because I heard another teacher say, hey, Mark. And then we all bugged him. I'm like, hey, Mark, hey, Mark. Like, we started calling him Mark. And he's like, you guys shut the fuck up. It's Mr. Penner. And we're like, oh, okay, he's cool. So
Yeah, I think I only knew one's first name too, and that was my guidance counselor. Everybody else,
I didn't know if they were I didn't know if they were married. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what they
No.
did after school. I didn't know any of that. Because
No.
it's none of my you're there to educate, not indoctrinate. Put
Yeah.
that on a bumper sticker,
Well,
Oreo.
see, and that's the thing too. Like, okay, even let's just say
Christine,
even my
sorry,
work.
Christine.
Okay, my supervisor, I found out, is in a band. I've been working with him for how long? And I
Hmm.
just happened to find this out because I happened to go bug him for something while he was looking for a new drum set. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
interesting. But that's the thing. Is like this is your job. People at my work don't know everything there is to know about me. It's not really any of their business. Do you know what I mean? Like they like it makes no sense to me because that's not my job. My personal life isn't my job. So why would I keep bringing it up or keep, making everybody else listen to it? And the thing is that okay, let's just say in some weird way they decided to um talk about this and call it the don't say gay bill because in the bill they're telling you not to talk about sexuality and sex to children 5 to 8. So,
Period.
yeah, period. Heterosexual, homosexual, whatever sexual, nothing. Okay? And yet you have people, teachers who are literally freaking out about this and saying, "Well, I don't care.
Right.
I'm going to do it if I want to do it." And, "Oh, well,
Right.
yeah." Like crying.
Like,
I
how,
mean,
how am I gonna tell my students if they ask if I'm gay? Say it's none of your fucking business.
why would
Shut
they
the
be
fuck up.
asking? Why would they be asking? Unless you're actually
Well,
bringing it up, why
you
would they be
can
asking?
check around the room. Look, I'm sure if you look, you will find the answer. Oh, okay. So is like I brought this up. Like I spoke with our kid's school, saying why does my kid say that no, Canada isn't an inclusive country, and he doesn't find pride in a Canadian flag.
Yeah, he finds more
That's a
pride in a gay flag.
Yeah, because it's more inclusive. I'm like, uh not with, especially like if you're seeing this stuff and you're seeing like there are videos all over of teachers saying, I love my children. I can't lie to them. Taught to teach them. I don't maybe it is that feeling of narcissism and trying to push something like that's you're you're in no position to talk about this. None.
No.
Like, hey, you know what? Talk to your parents. talk to talk to your parents about this. As simple as that.
How is
Not
that
where a
hard?
5-year-old And why would a 5-year-old ever say, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, do you like muff? My dad says you're a carpet muncher."
Well, I'm pretty sure that
Like,
words wouldn't come out of a 5-year-old. I'd like to hope
but
not.
that's the thing. But like, no 5-year-old is gonna say, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, I like I like penises and other penises." Uh, you would probably, if you're a responsible teacher, you would go, I think maybe that's better safe for to talk to your parents. That's not my job. That's not
Yeah.
my. I can't.
Well, then you're gonna sit there and, like, that one teacher that, I seen the video of, like, she was sitting there crying about it. She's like, "If it's for the safety of my kids."
They're
Um,
not your kids.
yeah, yeah, we've mentioned that. Yeah, they're not your kids. And 2, is it really why is it so hard not to talk about sex to children 5 years of age to 8 years of age? Why is this so
Pedophile.
difficult? Right?
Rumor.
Like, and 100%, and why
Rumor.
kids that young shouldn't even be thinking about that. Let them be kids. Quit indoctrinating all your bullshit into them. I seen one video that was literally they were talking about how, "Oh, well, when I was raised, the heterosexual way and stuff like that, and I'm raising my kid as a gay." Really? Like, that's
Well, there
any
was the
better? Like,
Well, there was that article or whatever that was saying, like, it was trying to make a joke about it. Like, I'm gonna raise my kids gay, and I'm not even gonna say the word gay, but I'm actually doing it. Like,
yeah,
it was supposed to be a joke, but
satire.
then,
Yeah.
like, if you're actually doing the thing you say you're doing, and it's a joke, it's not a joke. It's You're doing it. Like, if I punch someone in the face and then I go, "Man, I'm really against violence, so I punched someone in the face. Obviously, that's a joke. I punched him in the face."
Yeah, that's
Uh,
a good
no,
point.
you just committed a crime. What? What are you? No, that's assault. Like, what are you? You can't. That's not a. It's
But,
not a joke.
fun
It's not
fact
satire. It's not satirical.
that actually happened here today, where one of our kids decided to, punch the other one in the balls. He was just joking. He was just joking around, just playing around.
No, a joke is when you feign. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I coulda wrapped you right in the nutsack, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
the feigning. Like, and you flinched. Two for flinching.
well, yeah. Like, when you're
Like,
actually
that's
inflicting
the
pain to somebody else, it's not a joke. Sorry. I'm not really
no, but
sure where you
you're
learned this
seeing it.
from.
You're seeing it more and more. The bigger and bigger push. Like, why are you so hell bent on this?
I don't know, that's
And
literally what gets me.
yeah, I honestly, that's pretty messed up. That's really messed up. And these people are in charge of teaching your kids 5, 6 hours a day.
This literally makes me want to pull my kids out of school, like, 100%. Like, I
Yeah,
it's not okay. It really isn't. It's quite fucked up.
yeah, and like, even with, like, like, talking with a guidance counselor, like, the kids they're going to talk about this. So why would it not be from a teacher? Because that's not your job. Like, simply put, you're there to teach a curriculum. I don't know where you and me suddenly became joint custody parents of my kid.
Well, and you have, like, okay, you have your basic sex ed
Hey,
stuff that they do
hey,
teach the kids, and they've always done that. They did it with us too, like, explaining about the functions and
birds and the bees,
yeah.
the gays,
But
Oreos.
that's where it should end. Anything else, like, now, I'm not saying that the teacher shouldn't be accepting of other kids or whatever if they're going through something, but just Talk to your parents about it. They shouldn't be talking to your kids about stuff like this. And
Yeah.
to literally openly say, "Well, I'm going to not tell the parents and I'm just going to whatever and do this to the kid." Like think about it. Like exactly how you put it
Like,
earlier. How would you feel if you found out that somebody was in a room with your young child and this is what they're talking about and saying, "Oh, don't tell your mom." Like,
yeah.
hello?
Like you, anyone would lose their mind if someone had said, "Hey, me and my husband, like, oh, we have sex all the time, but like we really enjoy it, but shh, don't tell your parents." In any situation, especially in an education setting, in a church where they're, Catholics, you kind of you get a little feely with the kids, the altar boys, they got that prime ass I know that you like. Like
So juicy.
you're it is it's really messed up.
It is.
And then, like I said, the big focus, the big push. Well, I have to do it. No, no, you don't. You can just shut up. Oh, but you're denying my existence. No, no, I just don't think that you should be talking to 5 and 8 year olds about your escapades.
You're
How
denying
about
my
you just say,
existence. Okay.
"Yeah, I
You
don't
got a
care."
job, right? Okay, so clearly you're accepted. They, I'm sure your work people know how you are, who you are, or whatever. Clearly you're accepted. Why do you need a 5-year-old's acceptance in this? Why do you need to explain yourself to a 5-year-old? If I had a child that was young enough, like that age, and they came home and they started telling me that they were learning about this and this at the age of 5 to 8, I would be livid. You best be believing I'd be having some words with that teacher. And I don't care about anybody's sexual orientation or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. These are young children who don't need to be thinking about stuff like this. Let them be kids and quit
Well,
with your whole narcissistic, selfish, egotistical asshole and just, you know what, talk to your friends. These are freaking kids. Mm.
like I remember, like, and it, I just I don't know. I find it really weird that there's such a focus on this. There's such a pushback that people feel not just even I think not maybe entitled or feeling that it's their duty to go against what parents have said. Like this the fact that like they're the more so the fact that a law like this had to be put in place in order to protect parents and children says a lot more because obviously government is downstream from from culture, and government is a big ship that takes a long time. Like it has to be a national emergency before government finally steps in and goes, okay, okay, oh, what they've been grooming. Like, I'll bring up Bill 67. We have MPs that go, I didn't understand what anti-racism is. Well, where have you been? Like, you would assume that the MPs, MLAs would be at least somewhat aware. Like you're on Twitter, right? You're on, to be fair, maybe not Facebook, but you are on. Well, most of them should be on Twitter to kind of, get a bit of a, you know, lick your finger and check where the wind is blowing.
Like
Otherwise, you sign into law things that are diametrically opposed to anything that Canada would stand for.
when you're in a position of power, anybody who's in a position that can actually make real change or make big decisions that affect a whole plethora of people, you think that instead of just somebody being like, "Oh yeah, well let's do something about let's pass this bill about anti-racism." Okay, Well, yes, you hear the word anti-racism and think, well, that just means that you're not racist. Like, how is that a bad thing? When you're in a position of power, okay, who are we? Like literally,
Oberlin
like Kim
College.
and Tyler. Who are
Sorry.
we? We're nobodies, okay? And yet we looked into these things. We looked what are the definitions of anti-racism and looked up he looked up things for what it actually means, what their teachings are, stuff like that. And we're nobodies, okay? When you're in a position of power, you better believe you should be doing as much research as possible before you sign your name to something and make this change and make these big mistakes.
Yeah, because now now you are fighting a bill. Like, well, why would you sign it into law? Did you not read it? Because that's what people end up seeing. Well, what else are you not doing? What else, like, are you, you just, oh, bill, bill 6062. Oh, the affirming of gender act.
Sounds good to me.
Oh,
Write it up.
yeah, I affirm. Yeah, genders. Male, female. Well, no, you didn't read where it says you need to affirm. The 100 and something genders. Otherwise, you could be fined. Obviously, I'm making this up. I don't know, like Bill 62, but it's an example of you know if you just read, it's just like reading the moose. If you just read the moose and you just read the headline, okay, well, then you don't know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I was saying Oberlin College, because we talked about this on Friday, I think it was. So I was talking about that university that it was a bakery. There was the bakery that was trying to make the gay cakes, or the gay couple wanted them to make a dick, like
Yeah.
make a dick in the shape of a cake. So there was that story, and then I did conflate it with another one, and this was from Oberlin College. I'll give you a quick little synopsis. So Oberlin College, they have a bakery that's close by. It's Gibson's Bakery, and this bakery has been in operation, family owned for over a century. One of the oldest bakeries in Ohio. I believe it's in Ohio. Yeah, and so this Gibson Bakery ended up. They had people come in and shoplift. It was three men. These are adults. Three men came into their store and was trying to steal wine. Well, unfortunately, those three men were black. So what did the university do? Their professors started saying, "Oh, this Gibson's Bakery is racist. They're xenophobic. They're da 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 da," and they were actually letting kids out. Letting I should say kids. They're supposedly adults, but they act like children. They let them out of class to go and protest. They were sending leaflets around saying that Gibson's Bakery is racist. Well, the funny thing is, with this bakery, with its, I believe it's 100 something years in business, out of 40 something people that have stolen from there, 6 were black. So they're they hate them blacks. They let Rosa Parks get to the back. You should have stayed on the back of the bus instead of sitting up front. They're not like that. But so Oberlin College, first time for tortious interference, for defamation, for all this type of crap that the university pulled, or college, this cesspool of education. Well, those professors and students cost this college $31 million. So they tried to appeal it. Initially, they won, I think it was 25 million, a $25 million judgment. Well, because this place basically for the past 3 years, actually it was in 2017. So they would, like I said, they would protest out front of this business saying that they're racist, even though the men that stole from there were convicted of theft. They were charged with theft and convicted of theft. but they were called racists. So that's why I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, they won $31 million and $6 million. So it was 25 million plus $6 million in legal fees. It cost them $6 million to save their reputation, which obviously they are never getting back. 5 years of fighting bullshit, made up charges or accusations. And this college allowed their students to do it. These children, they're not adults. That is the shit children do.
Oh, 100%. What I would like to know, I mean, I think I know the answer, but if roles were reversed and say that bakery that's been around for a bajillion years was owned by black people and it was 3 white people who went in, would they be called racist and protested outside?
No, no, it's a double
What if
standard.
what if it was Asian people and it was
Oh,
black owned?
Asian people are smarter. No, well, to be fair, black people beat the fuck out of Asian people all the time. So it'd just be business as usual.
Hmm, okay. That's neat.
You know, does that sound racist? Does that sound xenophobic? Yeah. But unfortunately, the statistics are overwhelmingly, I think it's something like 70 or 80% of Asian assaults are by minorities, by black people. And it's I would say to the bigger idea of this is when you create an actual culture of victimhood where you blame, say that you can't succeed. You are incapable of succeeding because of your skin color, because someone else took that position or that opportunity away from you. That's why you're in the position that you're in. Be mad at them. Don't be mad at the government. We give you welfare checks. We help you. Even though record spending hasn't helped.
What I find funny,
Oh,
not funny, but funny, is that literally the only kind of racism you ever really hear about that is so scrutinized is white people. All white people are racist. But yet
privilege
you
plus
have
power.
what?
Privilege plus power or whatever stupid crap they say.
I don't fucking know. Whatever, anyway. But yet you never hear about any of the racism from other races. Like whether it's blacks against Asians or East Indians against, I don't know, Guatemalans. I don't know.
Cool.
I'm just making shit up here. But like, you don't ever hear about stuff like that and about how that kind of racism is really bad. Literally, the only thing you think of when you think of racism is, oh, it's got to be a white person. Yeah, it's definitely a white person.
Well, one thing I noticed, like from news articles, if they don't say the ethnicity of the person, it's a black person, it's a minority or Aboriginal. No, no, no. If it's a white person, they will say it flat out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's by omitting the information, well, people can infer, and they're that like that guy in in Waukesha, the during the Christmas Day parade that ran over a bunch of people and killed them. They didn't say. They just said a white SUV. Well, son of a bitch, I didn't know SUVs suddenly became sentient and started becoming like Terminators. Must kill all people in order to save them. No,
Well,
it
yeah.
was unfortunately, it was a Black Lives Matter supporter. Oh, surprise, surprise. It was a black guy that ran over innocent people.
I got swept
And
under really
but and
quickly.
oh yeah, as soon as people found out that the whatever fucking Brooks or whatever that dude's name was, he's a piece of shit. I don't care. He's a scumbag loser human being that would have been better served. Maybe moving to Colorado and taking partaking in their newest law that they just passed. Maybe his mother should have taken that approach if that's what he would become in this world. But well, for those that don't know, Colorado just passed abortions whenever you want. Full on. Oh, you want post birth? Fucking chop that kid up. Yeah. Yeah. So they've but so anyways, yeah,
Oh, how is this okay?
I don't know. I have I wouldn't say I'm torn on it, but when the kid can coo and make sounds like, like a guy and, all that crap, maybe you shouldn't be looking at chopping that kid up.
It it's bad enough when somebody has to do it when it's young enough, okay, and it's still inside. Once you could literally take it out and it can survive on its own,
What point does it
that's
become murder?
I was just gonna say that. Like, literally. How we okay. And you call that pro-choice. You call literal murder of a human being that is outside of the womb. Okay? It's no longer inside you. It is outside. And then you're gonna be like, yeah, I changed my
I don't
mind.
like this one.
No.
Ew,
The nose. Ugh,
it's brown.
get rid of it.
It's no, actually, not even to make a skin color joke, where women have said, "I wish I never had a. If I knew it was a boy, I would have aborted it."
People say that? Oh, I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
surprised with that. We literally we were talking about a video of some girl that was like having a party because she was pregnant and going to be getting rid of their kid. When did people become so fucked up? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to swear. Yeah. When did this happen? Like, have people always been this messed up and we're just hearing about it more? Because, with society and the way it is, everybody has to be accepting about everything. And you know what? Okay, that's really cool. You know what? That's pro-choice. If she wants to have an abortion, that's her choice. And if she wants to celebrate that, that's okay. Well, I'm really sure that like a lot of those murderers out there, I'm sure they celebrated murdering people. And I guess that should be okay, right? I mean, murder is murder.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Like, at what point? So even if, let's say, when it's still inside the woman, okay. I'm just saying, just for argument's sake. Okay, if up until the day of 10 centimeter dilation, for anyone that doesn't know, that's typically when you're giving birth. Until it gets outside your snatch, well, you can do whatever you want. But the second it's outside, well, but then at what point can you just say, well, I didn't like this person. I think they would have been better off aborted. So I'm going to abort them.
Right? It's just a little
It's
late.
obviously it's an extreme, but up to even after birth. That's the thing. After birth.
What about what about okay. There was this
Aboutism.
one story a few years back in the United States over Boxing Day because them bitches be crazy Boxing Day sales.
I mean, where people die.
Yeah, which is forked up too. Anyway, but there was a lady who literally stabbed a bunch of
Mass
other
abortion.
people for no, no, no. She stabbed a bunch of people because I can't remember what game system it was, but she promised her son that she was going to get one for Christmas and you know, mama had to get her boy one of those for Christmas. So, she ended up stabbing a few people. One of the people that she ended up stabbing was a woman who was pregnant, and she stabbed her in the stomach, okay? So,
Oh.
this lady killed 2 people. So, she got charged she killed more than 2 people, but she got charged with the one person for 2 murders.
Mm.
So, why did she get charged for murder for something that wasn't born yet? But then if people decide to You know, that's not murder. I don't get it. I don't understand. Now, again, I am not against this, okay? I am pro-choice. You want to make that choice, you can make that choice. But at what point? Like, I do not agree with the afterbirth. Nope. That is
Well,
fucked.
yeah, I used to be a lot more pro-choice, and because it was normally the idea of, the what we you know what like we talked about this with your with your mom, was safe and rare, very rare. If there's a medical procedure that the mother has and possibly the baby might die because of just trauma, I understand that.
Or the
A
mother might
medical
die.
procedure in order to, yeah, well, that's normally a medical procedure where the mother could die. That's
I
normally what
thought you
that
said the
means.
baby. I thought you said the baby could die. I was
Well,
just
the
saying,
baby
or
could
the
die,
mother.
yeah, yeah, okay. But so, sorry, my nose is itchy.
That was a
But
really
so,
creepy noise.
you know, my nose is itchy. Can't help it. But
Oh,
so that was kind of the idea. Like, yeah, rare, if a medical problem or whatever. But now it's
birth
kind of
control.
just become, yeah. Well, actually, I was talking with a buddy of mine, and I shouldn't say, like, it's not like a friend of ours. It was more like an acquaintance. And the dude's wife, I don't know if they're wife or whatever, but she basically, abortions like are her contraception. Like, she just lets dudes fucking blow loads in her, and then she just goes to the, all right, doc, time for, how many punch cards do you fucking need? Like, she's got like frequent abortion miles. Like, that's just what she does. And that's where, like, okay, but that's where we've gone. And, like, to kind of, when we were talking to your mom about it, like, no, this is where Canada is, up to and including birth. But she had said, well, I don't know. I think it's what, like 3 months, like first trimester. No,
Nope.
no, it's not. No,
I wish
anytime,
up to
anytime.
and including birth. It's so disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. What point were you making? That's what happens when you cut it off.
What point was I making? That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting that it's literally up to and including birth. I can't even I don't even know who was on that board that made that decision that was like, "Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah,
Well,
do
and
this."
like, this is the crazy thing. Like, I'm very I'm very liberal. Like, individual choice, individual freedoms. Live and let live to a very large extent. Minimal government. Like, leave me alone. I don't want government intervention. Stop telling me what to do. Stop taking more of my money. Let me do what I want to do. That's your job. And it's crazy to hear that people are telling government. It'd be like your boss, and I think I've made this point before, but it's like your boss coming down and keep going, well, hey, why aren't you doing it this way? Why aren't you doing it this way? Why aren't you doing it this way? And they keep going and going and going. You go, hey, go away. I'm doing my job. I'm doing it fine. I don't need you telling me that, well, I need to do this. Oh, well, if you don't do it that way, we're going to take more of your paycheck away. But because I'm going to have to hire someone else to do the job that you're doing, like, can you just go away? I'll give you the tax money. You misuse it as you always do, and then every 4 or 5 years you say, "Oh, well, we're working for you while we increase taxes and put you more in poverty." But okay, sure, whatever. How about just go away? Can you just leave me alone? Stop telling me what to do every single day.
Wouldn't that be
But
nice?
all right, so let's move on to this next one. So Dr. Vernayiu has been removed from Alberta Health Services as CEO. This is from the National Telegraph. And one of the least covered aspects of the Alberta government's overbearing response to COVID-19 pandemic was the Alberta Health Services poor performance when it came to hospitalizations and ICU beds. The National Telegraph was one of the only, and at times the only, publication covering Alberta Health Services flawed ICU bed data that made it seem as if Alberta's healthcare system was constantly on the verge of being overwhelmed, which we heard that a lot from very, well, actually, from almost every province. Using the research of cybersecurity expert David Dixon, we showed that ICU bed data was being constantly altered, and that the Alberta Health Service was underutilizing medical resources. They were given by the United, I think that's United Conservative Party, so like Jason Kenney, those guys. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Dina Henshaw, fuck loser. You want to see a dork? Look at Dina Henshaw and the stupid crap her political theater that she had to pull, like when she walked up to the podium. So she has her mask on, walks up to the podium, pump, 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 puts hand sanitizer on, takes her mask off, proper, with your fingers not touching your face, pull it off, pump, 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 pump. Oh, and do it again. Oh, and then she gives her speech. What does she do? Pump, 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 all over her hands, puts her mask back on, pump, 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 and walks away.
God, her
Like,
hands must look like sandpaper. That's a lot of sanitizer.
like, yeah, like, hey, you're a doctor, and like that, but that's I've said, you watch this stuff and you go, there's no way in hell, no way. If you are, your hands would be like your skin would be falling off. They would be so ungodly dry just from your 8 pumps, and it's like dripping down your arms. And this is how I do it every day.
I
Like, no, there's
remember
no way.
when COVID first hit, and well,
Oh,
when we finally got the PPE shit on sanitizer, I was using sanitizer so much, my hands, and this was just in between customers, and like, because when you have customers in there, every customer, you got to wipe down the desk, you got to wipe down the pens, the debit machines, all that shit. And so with doing that and sanitizing, my hands were so red and like they would like crack and bleed. I ended up having to wear gloves for a while with like
yeah.
cream and stuff underneath. And I would just sanitize the gloves and I would change the gloves every now and then. But my hands were so raw and so painful that I couldn't even do it anymore. Like it was
Yeah,
just
but
horrible.
all right, so Dina Henshaw and the political theater. So Dina Henshaw in January 2022 even admitted that the Alberta Health Service ICU bed numbers were being misreported up to that point. Now, the CEO of Alberta Health Service, who was in charge of the operation of Alberta's medical system during the pandemic, is out of a job. Dr. Verna Hugh was fired by the UCP government, likely wanting to get rid of her mismanaged, blah, blah, blah. Had passed because Premier Jason Kenney and his cabinet feared causing a scandal by removing her sooner. Sure. Mauro Shays, the vice president of Cancer Care Alberta and Clinical Support Services, was taken over as the interim CEO. This is quite ironic for Dr. Hugh to say on her way out, seeing as one of the other scandals associated with her leadership at Alberta Health Services was the attempt to suspend or fire almost 26,000 casual employees from Alberta Health Services for being unvaccinated. 26,000 workers, even if temporary or casual. So the people that come in to help in a pandemic situation. It was only after David Dixon and the National Telegraph published leaked information that they had been cutting staff numbers to achieve a higher vaccination rate that Alberta Health Services eased off and then reversed course entirely months later. It was a marvel that Dr. Who was not removed sooner as Alberta Health Services, since she seemed to only serve the interests of the NDP and the Nurses Union of Alberta by artificially making COVID seem like more of an issue than it really was, requiring strict lockdowns and tight restrictions. Yeah. So numbers were being fudged, and we've seen this from like Toronto was conflating numbers, making things look a lot worse. She was suspending people, and this isn't it crazy? I said this months ago. Well, how do you achieve 100% vaccination rate or flu shot rate at any business or at any place? You fire the people that aren't. Look, we're 100%. Well, yeah, when you fire almost near over 26,000 employees, yeah, I'm sure you'll hit that 100% mark.
That's an insane
At
number.
what cost? At what cost?
Well, the healthcare system being more bogged down and people not being able to help people, more people dying, but I'm sure, they're just gonna blame it on, well, because the people
was
didn't
Jason
get
Kenney.
vaccinated and whatever. They're just gonna blame the unvaxxed as opposed to the fact that, well, they fired so many people. But whatever.
But so you're seeing this big push for for vaccinations, and people were saying, well, Jason Kenney, what are you doing? Why are why do you why where's all this money going? Oh, so I don't feel that bad for Jason Kenney when he goes, hey man, like, we put the money there. And my assumption would be that they are administering this program as best they can. Well, the Arthur Pavlovsky thing, that's a bit of a different story, but that is Alberta Health Services. I don't know where Alberta Health Services suddenly became the Gestapo. I don't know where the people that are in charge of hospitals suddenly are an enforcement arm of the government. Like that's,
Speaking
geez, I
of,
would love to hear. Like, do you want like um HSC having a police force that say, hey, you didn't get your shots, off to the clink with you. Oh, that didn't look like 6 feet apart. Oh, that's not a KN95. What are you? Oh, it'd be really unfortunate. And I don't want to scare you, but I've heard that some people that didn't wear a KN95 mask, their their bank accounts got frozen. And I don't want that to happen to you. I'm just trying to tell, for your own safety, for your own benefit. I think you should do this.
to be fair though, there's a lot of people who were very pro vaccine, pro mandates and stuff like that. That honestly, they would be sitting here listening to this going, yeah, good. There should be. I'd be fine with that. If it got all those anti vaxxers to get vaccinated and stuff like that because they don't care about my health, 100% they'd be
Well,
fine with it, which is just, it's gross.
that's that's scarier. But
Yeah.
but this is just kind of, it's crazy to see like how many people, like I said, I can see the issues with Jason Kenney. Yeah, he can be a bit of a dick, a bit of an idiot, but at the same time, if someone's telling him that, oh yeah, this is what we're doing, and they're not doing their job, like,
They
shut
might.
up. Like, what do you kind of expect to happen?
To be like,
You expect that mismanagement, but
I,
it's more the conflict of interest.
yeah, I didn't even know like this was an interesting little factoid. And I don't even know like how many people out there listening knew this. I didn't. But when the mandates and stuff like that started lifting and we were finally able to go without masks and whatnot, I was pretty stoked about that. I gotta say though, I am actually quite surprised at how many people are still wearing masks. Like I would have assumed it would have been like a huge majority of people aren't wearing masks anymore. But I gotta say, like, even at work, about 70-80% of the people who come through my work are still wearing masks. So it's quite surprising. And there's still a bunch of people at my work that, or a few people at my work that still wear masks. But anyway,
Fair, I'm judging you.
you would
I'm
because you're
judging you.
judgy. You're judgy. I don't judge. But anyway, um,
I do.
I was
Yeah.
actually surprised to find out that the mandates have lifted for a huge chunk of us, but anybody who's a federal government employee, they still have the mandates. I know
NDP and liberals,
I
you're
know
welcome.
people personally who work for the federal government that are still not working right now. I was really shocked to find out because I kept like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? And it's like, well, mandates are still there. And I was really shocked to hear that, and I don't understand why, like, the provincial governments and all the other people, they've lifted those mandates, why they've kept it in place for federal government employees. That I don't understand. So if anybody actually
It,
knows that, leave it in the comment section below.
I find it quite bothersome because
Yeah.
now all this the liberal stuff, and I'll be fair, the conservatives did nothing. I'm sorry, conservative, you guys did nothing until finally people spoke up and you said, "Oh, we can reach those people." And people have been saying, "Hey, how about keep our charter rights intact?" And the conservatives didn't do anything until a bunch of stupid truckers had to go to Ottawa and say, "Hey, we just want the choice. That's all we want. We just want the ability to choose." But what are you seeing? What are you seeing coming out now from Pfizer? And this isn't conspiracy. This is from Pfizer themselves saying, "Oh yeah, we knew people were going to have heart problems. Charge ahead anyways." Like, this has been published information. The some of the information that Pfizer and Johnson weren't supposed to release, for 50, 75 years.
Yeah.
Some people were able to get that information that, oh yeah, they knew people were having heart complications. They knew that men were being adversely affected, that they were having a massive problem with hearts, with having heart attacks, where women were having problems as well. But in terms of myocarditis, men overwhelmingly were having inflamed hearts, where people were collapsing from it. They knew about it and decided to do nothing. So, you know what? To be fair, we might get booted off YouTube because of what? True information. So, of course, if we get booted, we're on Rumble. We'll always be on Rumble until Chris sells and some other takes over. But
Actually, I had heard not heard, oh my god. I had there we go, a conversation with this older gentleman at the doctor's office the other day. And it was kind of funny because he came in and it was just me and our kid sitting there waiting for our appointment. And he comes in and he checks in and he kind of like looks over at us. And then he's like, says to the receptionist, well, he's like, what happened to the seats? She's like, well, what are you talking about? They're all right there. And he's like, well, yeah, but what happened to the 6 feet apart? Because there's no longer those signs on the seats in between, like keeping people separated. And she's
mm,
just like, well, we just kind of, figured people already knew the drill and just to kind of, they could make up their choices themselves. And he
oh
kind of
crap!
like, he looked towards me, and it's funny because he like looked towards me, and I kind of look at him. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, nothing against you. I don't think that you have like COVID or anything. And I was like, "Well, no, I was just wondering, like, do you
Actually, I do.
do you want a hug?
I do.
Like, yeah. I'm like, do you want a hug? Like, and he's just like, well, I'm not opposed to a hug. I'm just like, okay. So then he sits down, and we kind of started randomly talking. And all of a sudden, he just kind of started bringing up about like people not wanting to get vaccinated and all this other stuff. And he's like, "Well, why do you think that is?" And like at this point, he doesn't know that I'm vaccinated or not, right? I'm there. He had said something about masks, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I was so excited to not have to wear these masks anymore," and blah blah blah. Even though at the doctor's office you still have to, and at the dentist too, which I noticed today. But regardless, um, but he was kinda asking questions about, why people would not want to be vaccinated. Like, he's like, if you had someone gave you a choice and was like, "Okay, well, option A, you're going to get COVID and you're gonna die. Option B, you can have this and this may save you from dying. Like, what would you choose?" And I was like, "Well, for me personally, if I had a choice between life and death, I would choose life. However, And he's like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "So why wouldn't people want it?" I said, "Because it's being forced." And I kind of explained it to him like, "Well, when you're literally trying to force a hand in someone," I'm like, "Then you have people who are going, whoa, 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 why are you forcing this? Why are you pushing this on me so bad? Like, this doesn't seem right. Like, you're making
Hmm.
me question it now." And I have mentioned in previous podcasts before, I had made the decision that I was gonna get vaccinated because I had had H1N1 in the past, and I was sick for 3 months, and I was very, very, very sick. And if COVID was potentially worse than H1N1, do I really wanna go be in that position again or risk it or potentially die? And I already have some of those comorbidities or whatever you wanna talk about. I'm already overweight, stuff like that. Like, I'm already high risk. So do I wanna
Hmm.
take that chance, right? And I had made that decision that okay, it took me a long time to make the decision, I'm just gonna say, because when the H1N1 thing came out, I didn't even take that vaccine, and then I ended up getting it. But so I made the decision myself that, okay, I'm gonna do it, and this is my reason why. But when they started pushing it so hard and started, "You have to get it or else you're gonna lose your job, you're gonna do this," once it started being mandatory at my job, honestly, I didn't even wanna get it anymore. I didn't even wanna go for the second shot. I just wanted to be like, "Fuck you, like, why are you forcing this so much?" Because you're
Yeah, it
literally
becomes
taking
weird.
away. Exactly, it becomes weird, and you're taking away my choice. I made that choice that, okay, yes, I'm going to do this. And like I told the guy in at the doctor's office, if you would have given people that, like left people to have that choice, I said, I can guarantee you the majority of people would have gotten the vaccine. But once you start taking away people's choice and you start forcing it upon them, that's when you get more resistance. And that's when you start wondering, what do you got going on here? Like, why are you
Yeah.
pushing this so hard? I can't trust you. And he was kinda asking, he was like, "Well," he's like, "Is it the doctors you don't trust or is it the government? Or the no, or the science?" And I said, "Okay, it has nothing to do with
What
either
side?
one." I said, "I believe in science." I said, "Science tells you this, and it also told you, you know, that we didn't have to keep these mandates going and the masks and stuff like that. They told you that it didn't work, but, whatever anyway." But I said, "It has nothing to do with that." I said, "It has everything to do with the higher up." I said, "Because the thing is, like, it has nothing to do with me not trusting my doctor." I said, "But they're getting orders from higher up saying, 'Push this, do this, da 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 da.'" So then they start pushing that. So you can't even fully trust what they're saying. I said, "You have some doctors that are like, 'No, don't do this.' You have other doctors that are saying, 'Yes, do this.'" I said, Which doctor are you supposed to believe at this point?" But you literally have government coming down on the doctors, on the scientists, telling them, "Say this, do this, da 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 da." I said, "That's who I don't trust. It has nothing to do with me not trusting the science, the vaccine, or my doctor. It has everything to do with the higher ups and why are you pushing this so bad? Like, what are you doing?" So,
Well, and I think in those kind of situations, like, you can get into the nitty-gritty. But the thing is, when you start pushing, start talking about, well, I'm the like the big stuff, well, you could say, well, I don't know if I could trust a company whose the largest lawsuit in North American history is now in charge of this. I think some healthy skepticism with that. But I'm sure
yeah,
something like that would pique someone's interest. Go, well, what do you mean? Please look on your phone. Largest lawsuit in American history. You'll see the company. It's the same one. You know, but like, yeah, I guess there is a healthy skepticism of, I'll say this flat out, I don't trust the government as far as I could throw.
no.
And I don't claim to be an expert, but I listen to what doctors say. I listen to what medical doctors say. And so when someone says the science, which science?
Which one are we believing in
Like,
today? Yeah.
yeah, and I think when you have dissenting opinions silenced, that is not the scientific method. That is not the Socratic method. of being able, deductive reasoning, being able to think, being able to formulate an idea, not based on all information, but a general understanding of being, at least being able to think,
Yeah.
being able to think critically, like, you know, well, these doctors are saying X, Y, and Z, and the fact that like Anthony Fauci made concerted efforts in order to shut down and not refute, not not push any any counter argument, but to say, hey, these doctors are just crazy. Medical doctors that have been working in the field, their life's research is being smeared for what? That is not the scientific method. It is challenging and reaffirming theories until, okay, it is settled. The science is settled. Well, to say that the science is settled, even that is a bit of a little wishy-washy because, well, maybe the methodology just changes. But
Well, could you imagine, like,
all right,
honestly, like, even say you go for a walk with somebody, right? And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, let's cut through the woods here." You're like, "Well, why cut through the woods? Like, why not just go around this way where it's all nicely lit up? It seems safer that way." Like, "No, no, no, come through the woods. I want to go through the woods." Well, no, I don't know. I kind of would rather do this. If you don't come through the woods with me, I'm going to flatten your tires, so then you don't have a choice. Come through the woods with me. At what point are you like, yeah, this seems a little sketch. Why are you trying to get me in the woods so bad?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
like
it's
I would have before, but now that you're like saying do this or else, okay, now I
stranger
don't
danger.
want
You're
to
creeping
at
me out.
all.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go down like the philosophical kind of path of, this one's nicely paved and it's lit, and oh yeah, it's so easy because so many people have paved that way. They've made it very safe for you. But you know,
Nay, nay.
this way,
Creepy
it
dark
it
woods.
can be a little. Yeah. All right, but so let's move on to this. So this kind of all ties in together, like with for the rest of it. But so Elon Musk bought 9.2% of Twitter, $3 billion, which to think about that,
Oh my god.
that's not even 10%. $3 billion, and he's been posting on Twitter like, "Hey, should I buy Twitter?" Like he just said, "Should I do it?" And so people were, or should I start my own social media?
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
this is
saw
kind of
that.
the
$3
yeah,
billion
and
dollars. Oh my god. And that's probably like fucking pocket change to him. I just carry that around in my wallet.
that's 0.3% of his net worth.
Oh my god.
0.3. Because I think he reportedly has 300 billion, and he sold off a lot of like Tesla stock and stuff like that. But 300 billion. But so, he 9.2 um 9.2% stake in Twitter. And this is what's crazy. As soon as this was announced, because it's an SEC filing, the Security and Exchange Commission, they control or regulate they control the stock market. Twitter stock shot up over 20, I think it was 26%. In this article it says 25, but I think it shot up 26% the day that this was announced.
Oh, people like Elon. Big
Oh,
daddy.
yeah. And so, yeah, I remember he had made a Twitter poll that, like, do you think Twitter adheres to, like, freedom of speech? And over 70% of people said no.
Nope. Nope. Not at all.
Yeah. So with Elon buying this big into Twitter, well, if you scroll down a little bit, one of Twitter's supposed employees, my name is Jackson Mulholland, Holland, whatever. I don't care. Your social woke
Mulholland.
penis, whatever. And I am one of the many people here working at Twitter in charge of developing terms and conditions for users. We're not stripping away free speech. We're protecting users from bullies, bigots, and spam.
Right. Okay.
I could agree with. I refuse to work with or for Elon Musk. I'm resigning. And then a gay pride flag.
Bye, Felicia. Why? Why would anybody be like, I refuse to work for or with?
All right, then see ya.
Why?
So
Like, what's your big deal, dude?
I posted on Twitter. I think all these woke lefties that are leaving Twitter, they should start their own Twitter. They could call it Twatter, and they could
Twats?
all just be a bunch of twats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Twats, 100%.
Yeah. But so, then there's so many of them, and the kind of the common theme that's funny to see. I don't have them pulled up. If you want, you can go to Post Millennial had an article, showing a lot of the people that were losing their proverbial wokish mind. Common thread: all of them have their pronames in their Twitter handle, all of them, and they're in their Twitter bio, whatever their little thing blurb.
Yes, because
Oh yeah.
everybody is a
Oh,
bunch of
they all.
fucking narcissists these days.
But so I want to move on to this. So, a bunch of Twitter leftists, crybaby, I'm in charge of developing terms and conditions. But bullies, bigots, and spam. Bigots.
I don't know, or
You
one of
can't
those Trump. They kicked him off.
you cannot say we are not stripping away free speech and then say we're censoring free speech. Like, I understand there are some things that are objectionable. Like, someone can't say, hey, or like, post videos of like gore or death. Okay. That I would find, reasonable,
Death
or
threats,
photos of
Yeah.
someone actually committing a crime. Okay. That's reasonable. Bullies, bigots, and spam. Spam, okay, that I can understand. That's typically just coming from a bot or someone that's just sitting there spamming, but like if you're, but well, I think of Twitter as like, the public square. That's the commons. And Elon Musk has said the same thing. Like Twitter is the de facto common square on the internet. This is where people go to shout their opinions. It's no different than you standing outside saying the end is nigh, or burn all gays, or whatever. You are welcome to spread and shout your opinions as much as you want. But it is your choice to listen to them.
There's that word again, choice. Naughty, naughty.
I know. Having the freedom to choose, I know it's terrible.
No, you can't
But
choose
so,
whatever you want. People have to tell you what to choose.
are you British?
Don't know.
But so you cannot say that we're protecting free speech on the same end, saying that we're stopping people from speaking. Like, you can block people. Like we had a Twitter troll, in our Facebook group, but he was just spewing shit. And you know what? To be fair, I will give as hard as I get, and I go
Harder.
Mm,
You're vicious.
but the funny thing is, I'm laughing the whole time I'm saying it. All I'm thinking is, what is the most vile, disgusting, disturbing thing that I can say? That's it.
Well, you
And I'm
definitely
laughing
win
about it.
that. That's for damn sure. Like I'll give it back 100%. I try to be a little witty and comical. You're just vicious. You're just like a freaking scorpion. You just like creep up and just bam. Yeah. Inject them with
Creep up.
poison.
It's more like I just burst through the wall like, Kool-Aid Man, and oh yeah, find a ceiling fan and choke yourself, or
Yeah, that was so there's so many times, like literally anybody who's watched us, if it's shit that comes out of his mouth, you're sitting there going, "Oh my god." Nay, nay. Look at the shit he says like on Twitter or to like trolls and stuff like that on
not that
Facebook or
bad on
whatever.
Twitter.
Literally, like it makes me drop my jaw. I'm like, dude,
I
like
think
you're
it's funny.
fucking vicious.
But that's the thing. I'm laughing the whole time I'm saying it. I'm just having a goof. I don't really want someone to kill themselves. I just or whatever. Like no, I don't actually. Well, but it's a joke. I do, but it's a joke. Like obviously, I don't want people to go hang themselves. Well, maybe they should, but so anyway. So Jack Dorsey, the former El Capitan of Twitter, he made. I think he's becoming based. I think Jack has become based.
What does that mean?
Like he's based is like he's aware. He's saying stuff like kind of contrary to his position, where like his typical position has been. Excuse me. But he says, posted this: the days of Usenet, IRC, the web, and even email with PGP were amazing. Centralizing discovery and identity into corporations really damaged the internet. Check that section again. Centralizing discovery and identity into corporations. So, where businesses get to filter and show you what you get to learn and see and cultivate real communities, really damaged the internet. I realize I am partially to blame and regret it. Like Jack Dorsey he didn't come out a lefty, but it was like the human centipede. Like, hey, we want to make this an inclusive place for everyone. We want people to be free to experience who they are.
You gotta stop.
And
You gotta stop with the human centipede, please.
well, but that's what happens here.
Mental
They
image.
they start eating their own fucking garbage, and then in their sphere, it amps up. And I'll say anyone in an echo chamber, and I'll say this is why Getter, Gab, God, what are some other ones? Like, Minds is kind of an offshoot of like Reddit, or you had like 4chan, 8chan. Well, those are kind of separate things, but social media platforms, Facebook. Well, what's an alternative to Facebook? I don't know, some knockoff, I don't know, Face magazine.
I don't know. You don't really have anything. They used to have MySpace, but then they killed it with Facebook. So
Well, but so like the thing is, people are going to go where people go. So like on Getter, it's the right wing alternative to Twitter. Well, if I only want to see people tell me things that I already believe, well, that's boring. To me, that's boring. I want, I want people that say, hey, you know what? I think this opinion is wrong, and this is why. Great. Because I'm now more informed. I'm more educated. You don't get that on Getter. Yeah, there are left wing personalities on Twitter, and that allows like for me, like I can see other opinions, not just my own, not things that I always go, yeah, you know what, I agree with that, because most of the time I'm the contrarian. I will argue your own point on the opposite side. So, you know, but that's a lot of what these are. Rumble is an alternative to YouTube, but it's people that I more or less, maybe not really agree with. But, I would like to support an alternative, because when you have a monopoly, well, then no one wins. You get to pick losers and winners.
well, it's a
Like,
boring
the company
conversation.
does.
Like in all, like if you're literally just talking to somebody who's constantly going to agree with you, I mean, it gets kind of boring. I mean, for the most part, you and I agree on a lot of things, but we still have things where we're very different in stuff that I believe in that you don't believe in, aka my witchiness, but or astrology or ghosts and stuff like that. Like that's not stuff that you're into, nor do you believe. But
Nope.
we have healthy debates about it. You respect that about me. You accept it. you just don't believe it, where there's stuff that you feel strongly about that I don't really see eye to eye on, but we can have those conversations. And that's it. You can have those conversations. We can have healthy debates. Like that's a good thing. Because if we were
Yeah,
exactly the same, well, that would be boring.
I'd kill you.
I might kill you too.
Yeah, but like well, because like actually when we were talking to the kids, so we were talking about like we we observe the world in three dimensions, and we kind of well we operate in three, but we experience four dimensions. Four being time. And I had made the idea of, well, what if people that are like ghosts, oh, they operate in the fourth dimension. They can now transfer themselves through time, as they see fit. That's kind of my best explanation. If ghosts did exist, well, maybe they're in the fourth dimension. Like we can't do it. We just see them come past us. We can't really interact with them because, well, we don't understand how they actually operate. But anyways, that could be a discussion for another day. But it's just interesting that Jack is now kind of saying like, yeah, because of what I created, well, the company has now been able to rifle, you know, alternative ideas, pushing people in a certain direction. And it's weird. It's really weird to see someone that's so like, since he left Twitter, basically, he's been spouting a lot of independent, individualist kind of thoughts. Oh God, what the hell did you just do?
I have no idea. I just clicked on the screen and that happened. I'm like, I don't know. Hold
Oh
on.
my God!
Hold on. Let me hit the undo button. Don't touch anything. Okay, there we
All
go.
right, well, but is you got anything else or?
I don't know. I mean, the one thing with the story I was talking about earlier with the older gentleman in the doctor's office, I will say that we had a really good discussion, and then even when I was leaving after, he had thanked me for giving my, I guess, a different point of view because he never thought about it that way. So, and that's what
Hmm.
I think a lot of the people out there, they're just very close-minded and they don't want to they have their own ideas and they don't wanna listen to a different side of things. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to understand, but he seemed like he was actually trying to really truly understand why somebody would be opposed to it. And, it was just kinda nice. It was a nice little conversation that we had had. So, if
Well,
I wanna say anything to anybody is try to actually listen to other people. Don't just focus on your own ideas and what you think is right or wrong. Like, try to actually listen to somebody else's point of view and put yourself in their shoes, or just try to understand things from their eyes, like how they're seeing things. And maybe, you'll be able to understand people a little bit better.
but I always think so. There's one kind of idea is like you're very resistant to differing ideas. I think after about the age 35, if I remember correctly, because it's the idea. It's like the survivalist kind of instinct of I've made it this far, doing and thinking this way. Therefore, I'm going to continue operating that way. And I think a lot of people get comfortable in that thinking, especially the older you get. Like, hey, I made it to 60 years old, and I've always just shut up and listened to the government. So I'm not going to buck the trend. This has let me survive. I have survived this long. I'm not changing what I do now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I've always been that type who has always been really open minded. So I guess that's just in my nature to be able to, I've always been very empathetic and just being able to listen to other people and try to understand where they're coming from. And even if it's something I don't agree with, okay, well, I can respect your decision and I can understand where you're coming from. I may not see eye to eye on it, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could see that if I was always like one way and then by the time I hit like the age of 60, it'd probably be harder for me to be able to think differently. But I would just say try to listen,
Yeah.
whether you agree or not. Like, just just listen to what somebody else is saying. You can still have your own point of view and your own beliefs and whatever, but just open up your ears, just listen a little bit.
Hmm. So I was just looking on Twitter. Well, whatever. I just told Justin Trudeau because he was apparently working with Saudi Arabia in order to help stop the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. And so I had responded with, "Oh, Yemen. You mean the bombings in Yemen, right? Like the genocide that's currently happening in Yemen?" And I shared an article from Amnesty International showing that Saudi Arabia has been bombing the fuck out of Yemen, and Canada is helping them. So just don't talk about it. Don't talk about a genocide, another genocide. But that's a topic for another day.
It's
So
up on the screen
all right,
for
let's.
anybody who's can actually see. It's up on the screen there. Yeah, I had seen that actually earlier when I was looking at her Twitter. Kind of had a giggle.
Oh yeah, I'm. Oh, all right, okay, let's get out of here.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and hope everybody's had a great week so far. Have a fantastic hump day and we will catch you again on Friday. Don't forget you can check us out on all the places listed in the description box below. And yeah, like I said, just try to listen to somebody else. Try and see a different point of view for a change. All right.
Fuck that.
Bye guys.